President Trump. Okay, let's go through today.
Yeah.
The Epstein fumble. That just the biggest fumble of the administration so far. He's been.
So we have John Kiriakou, former CIA, and was put in prison by Barack Obama, talking on Patrick Bet-David's podcast, talking about the biggest story of the century since the assassination of JFK, Jeffrey Epstein, the cover-up that the Trump presidency is doing. So we're going to watch this video, and I'm going to comment on it.
Being interviewed by Rachel Campos-Duffy. She asks in the interview, are you going to release the John F. Kennedy files? Yes. Are you going to release the 9/11 files? Yes. Are you going to release the, this isn't it, because somebody was sitting to her right. I don't think that's the one. It's a different interview. Are you going to release the Epstein files? And then she said, that's the one. Let me see if that's the one, Rob. No, that's not the one. Are you going to release this? Are you going to release that? And then that's it right there. So if you can play this, I don't know if you've seen this or not.
Yes.
Okay. So if you've seen this, you know which one it is once we get the video to work. And then he finally, when they ask him about Epstein, he hesitates. Okay. And he doesn't want to release it for whatever reason. Now, we don't know what the reasoning may be. He says, well, sometimes, stories like that get other people involved and we don't want to do that. Great. Then now, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, all of these guys who have talked about Epstein. There's a video of Dan Bongino, who is on Tim Pool podcast, and he's being asked about, and you've been on Tim Pool before, and he's on the Tim Pool podcast. You have been on there, right?
Yeah.
I think you've been, yeah. And he's being asked about, well, I'm in the waiting room of Fox News, and this guy's telling me that, Epstein was Mossad, and and that's exactly what happened. Okay. And then now all of a sudden we get the report 3 days ago. No client list, no this, no that. And
You see this client list that they're talking about, that there is no client list. We know that there's a client list because Chris Rock, he admitted that he was on the plane. And one of the names that was on that client list was Chris Rock. And you can see on even the Joe Rogan Experience. You can see right here. Let me show you this video.
And yesterday.
And they asked Chris Tucker on a podcast, what's up with you being on the list? He didn't do what Jimmy Kimmel said. Jimmy Kimmel said it's a fake list. Who cares what that list says? It's fake.
Right.
Chris Tucker goes, yeah, I did go on that flight, but we went to Africa and I went with a bunch of diplomats. I didn't know who this fucking Epstein guy was. Like Chris Tucker says, I had no idea. We were on this plane. We were going to Africa, do some diplomatic shit, and turns out he's a pedophile. And they asked Chris.
Yeah, we have the podcast right here. I have the clip.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. We flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different. That was a humanitarian trip to Africa, and I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people. We was with a delegation, and I met him, and you don't know people what they do in their private lives, so yeah.
But you gotta tell me this, Chris. You was on this private plane, and you could tell that it was a private plane because they called it, what is Lolita Express?
Oh, yeah.
And also this name, the Lolita Express. Lolita is a name that these like people like Jeffrey Epstein called young girls who looked promiscuous. That's why that's where the name came from. It came from a novel by this guy named Vladimir. Okay? And they called his plane the Lolita Express, so you know what was happening on that plane. So
yeah, it was a private plane. Yes. Oh, yes.
But wait a minute. You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No. I don't know where that thing at. No. I only.
Was enough.
Hey, we was going to Africa to save lives.
We don't know that he went on to that island, but we know that he was on the list. We know the list exists, so them trying to cover it up like Trump trying to cover up, this is a straight lie, guys. They're covering the list up. Why are they doing that? Okay.
When they're being asked about it, Pam Bondi says they found child porn. That's what they found, and that's what they don't want to release. Is that the video, Rob, the one that President Trump is asking about Epstein? I think you just had the video. How long is that video, by the way?
This one is the shorter
version. No, you need the other one to find the Bondi one.
I have the entire one right here.
This play that one. Play that one because I want her answer to also be in it. And I got so many questions with this on the CIA side, but go ahead and play this clip here. Go for it.
Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the news?
Yeah, sure.
Can I just interrupt for 1 second?
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file, along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively
That's a fumble.
the video was not conclusive, but
Why would you
the
release that video?
evidence prior to it was
You can pause.
showing he committed.
You've seen this, right? Yeah. Okay. Body language, your job is body language. You have to have a sociopathic tendency. You have to be able to size up the other person's body language. When you see this here, you see the president, you see Bond, you see the way they're handling this topic.
Yeah.
In your mind, what are you speculating?
That they're deflecting.
Why?
I think that this is one of those things where they just don't want people to go deeper. And
Why?
I don't think it has to do with, like, I don't think people are going to be implicated if the people in the White House are going to be implicated in anything. I think it's more about protecting the Israelis, actually.
Now here is where I disagree with John here, because you see, we have on record, but because of Michael Wolff, his journalism, he recorded an interview with Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein said that Donald Trump was a close friend of 10 years, guys. 10 years, okay? And you're going to tell me while he was going on his planes, he didn't know what was happening, or he didn't do it? Guys, this is, I don't know about that. He said close friend, okay? How many people can you say are close friends of yours, huh? He said of 10 years, guys. 10 years? And he's hiding it right now. He's hiding it. Why are you going to hide it? Why are you going to hide it, okay? One of the reasons that I agree with John here, he said that is because of Israel. And that's a great point. But being a close friend of Jeffrey Epstein for 10 years, there's something fishy there, 100%.
Why?
Jeffrey Epstein, in my view, is a textbook case of an access agent. I've said this before, but I think it's important and it bears repeating. If you are a foreign intelligence service and you want information from Bill Clinton or Bill Gates or Alan Dershowitz or important people, you want the secret information from them, you're not going to recruit them. They don't need anything from you. They don't have any financial vulnerabilities. So you do the next best thing and you recruit somebody who has access to them. And you finance this person. He has a private island. He's got a private jet. He flies these people down. All the bedrooms and bathrooms, we learned this week, were wired for video and for sound. And then you can get them, you can catch them in these compromising positions just in case you need to squeeze them a little bit. There's no evidence that any of them were squeezed, but just in case. And then you pass it back to your handlers. I had a trainer, one of my operational trainers, who told us when we were going through the process that the best recruitment he ever made was a copy machine repairman. And I laughed when he said it. And he said, no, I'm serious. Hear me out. He said, all of us want to recruit the prime minister. We're not going to recruit the prime minister. We're not even going to have access to the prime minister. But the prime minister's got a copy machine in his office. And every once in a while, that machine is going to need to be cleaned and serviced. So you recruit the copy machine repairman. And when he goes in there to make his repair or to clean the drums or whatever, he installs a little device that we give him so that every time somebody makes a copy, it transmits a copy back to the CIA.
Now, you hear what he's saying about the copier agent, and then also he said, you can never get the prime minister, but look what Jeffrey Epstein, what we just talked about, that he was Trump's best friend. And also Steve Bannon, he said that there was only one guy that could destroy Trump, and he said Jeffrey Epstein, okay? And he was talking about what? An access agent. And now we have Jeffrey Epstein, who was an access agent to who? He had access to Donald Trump. He had access to Donald Trump. And you know the funny thing about that is that Jeffrey Epstein died in whose administration? It wasn't Biden's. It was Trump in 2019, guys. What? There's something happening here. It's most likely, it looks like, it could have been, Trump could have been the person that also pushed for Jeffrey Epstein to be assassinated in that jail. Okay, guys? That can be one of the conclusions that you can come to. Okay, guys?
He said, I got a promotion, I got a medal, I got a photo op with the director. It made my career. Because every sheet of paper that went through that prime minister's office went straight to the CIA.
One little chip was doing that.
That's it.
So now, how do you use? So what do you do with those assets now you're getting? You know what the communication is. You know what they're thinking about. You know what their next move is. You know who their enemy is. You know who their ally is.
Exactly. Maybe it's what their position is going to be on trade negotiations. Maybe it's, the prime minister's got some kind of health problem that you need to know about for planning purposes. You never know. You never know what's going to pop. Maybe it's just, spam, or it's a rent-a-car application or stupid stuff you just throw out in the shredder or in the burn bag. But, that one nugget might come through. And I think that that's what Jeffrey Epstein was. Now, we know all about Ghislaine Maxwell's father, having had this long relationship with Mossad. I believe that he was a Mossad access agent. It makes perfect sense to me. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, but it makes perfect sense. And we know that the Israelis have taken these people who have committed crimes against children and taken them back into Israel. Okay? We have famous cases, and you can go search it up online. So we have two problems here. Israel is totally behind Jeffrey Epstein. We already know that. But the bigger problem here is that Trump is hiding the truth. He's hiding the truth, and he's the problem right now. He's not letting us see what's in the files. He's not letting us see this list, and he wants to hide it, guys. And if we don't keep pushing, keep pressuring him, he's gonna hide it. Okay? Okay, guys. Now, if you want to support me, watch this video next here. Okay? Watch this video right here.